Hi, this is Greg McIntyre with the McIntyre Elder Law Report, and I have a special guest and topic here today, nutrition. Nutrition is so important. It makes us who we are. It's the energy that fuels our lives, makes us feel bad, makes us feel great, and long term, the way you eat is who you are and determines in large part how your health goes as well. And I have a special guest, Steve Schick, like the razor.
That's right. That's
Steve
right.
Schick. He and his wife, Cynthia Schick, own and run Chefs for Seniors.
Correct.
Here in Charlotte and surrounding area, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And so Chefs for Seniors, I found while I was dinking around on the computer late at night on Google a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I was looking for a solution myself to my desire to take my nutrition to the next level, because I realized how important it is to how I feel, how I look, my weight, my numbers, right? Medically, energy, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was like finding the Holy Grail. I was like, oh, I saw Chefs for Seniors, and I'm like, man, that is really cool. It makes so much sense.
It does.
And in a holistic manner, in kind of the road we're going down, and I know we're going to get there.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what Steve and Cynthia do at Chef for Seniors, who their clients are, how you can be a client of theirs, how important nutrition is to our well-being, and some of the great work you do. Right?
Yep.
And I know I'm going to touch on, because I know me, the fact that in our society over the last 50 years or so, maybe longer, it's pills, medicine. And then we're shoving this junk in our bodies. I want to say something bad. In our bodies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we wonder why we feel bad or don't look the way we want to look.
Yep.
Or our numbers are off on our blood test.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just another pill. And it's like, that's a cycle that I wish to avoid in my life. Okay?
Yep.
By diet and exercise. And by diet, I don't mean some fad diet. I mean the daily regimen of what I eat. So with that, that's just an intro. And
Okay.
that's how passionate I am about health and nutrition. And I know we have a lot of watchers, listeners, and clients out there who, some are seniors, some are not. But the majority probably are, and are your target market, and know exactly some of the things that I'm talking about that I just went over. So hang with us for a little bit. We're going to have a cool discussion about nutrition
Mm-hmm.
with Chefs for Seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So number one, tell me about Chefs for Seniors, what it is.
Chefs for
Yeah.
Seniors is an in-home personal chef service.
Right.
We have highly trained chefs, actually 10 around the Charlotte market right now, that will come into your home and cook a week or 2 weeks worth of meals, all fresh food, all packaged and portioned exactly the way you want it and made the way you want it. We are the only service that can handle virtually any dietary restriction you might have.
Right.
So we have lots of people that have diabetes, that have renal failure, people that are vegan, vegetarian, the other kinds of diets that people want to be on that help you live to be 100 and some years old, and so on and so on. We cook all of those things.
Sure.
We have over 200 recipes that we can choose from, but our chefs are professionals, which means we can modify any of those recipes any way the customer wants them.
And you have a lot of firepower in your organization, both knowledge of cooking, food prep,
Mm-hmm.
as well as running a business
Oh, for sure.
successfully.
Correct.
Between you and your wife, that's what I understand.
Yes. I've owned a very successful consulting company for 20 some years. My wife also owned a public relations company. We got to a place in our lives where we really wanted to give back. We wanted to do something more meaningful. Okay, I'll be honest with you, this is not going to be the most profitable business I ever saw.
Right.
But it is the most profitable in terms of what it does for our heart.
But I understand you and your wife are at a point where you not only want to do something that's profit for profit's sake, but also that gives back and does something that you guys feel really good about what you've done at the end of the day.
Quite honestly, we're 2.5, almost 3 years in the business now, and we're just having so much fun.
Right.
It's so gratifying to be able to go in and help people, and they're not just seniors. You know, we also work with busy professionals, working families like yours,
Right.
that just don't have a lot of time, that just, you know, they don't want DoorDash anymore, and they're tired of eating pizza and chicken wings and things like that, and they really want to be able to open the refrigerator and see some healthy food.
Sure.
And we can make it family style, we can make it individual portions, depending on what somebody's tastes are.
So you could come in my house.
Yes.
And you can make a week's worth of food.
Yes.
Fresh food that I could have.
Correct.
Pull out half for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and stuff like that.
That's absolutely right. Yes,
That's super cool.
that's absolutely right.
Right.
Yeah. We go to the grocery store, by the way. Okay, you're gonna tell us what you want to eat. You're gonna have a consultation with your chef, and you and your chef are gonna decide what you want and how you want it made. And your chef will go to the grocery store for you and pick up everything we need, show up at your house, and we'll be
Right.
there for about 2 hours, you know, creating all those meals and packaging them for you just the way you
What
want.
if I have certain goals, like you mentioned, dietary restrictions?
Yeah.
People who are having some health problems, let's say for seniors who have some goals to either get back to being healthy or stay healthy, and they know they have some current health issues, you're gonna sit down, I imagine, what are your goals?
That's right.
What foods do you like? What meals do you like?
We do a
And
service
try to work
consultation.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, make that happen. Yeah.
My wife calls it a flavor profile. Okay,
Okay.
a service consultation where we're literally going to go through a list of all kinds of foods that you like, that you don't like, and how you like them prepared. Sometimes we'll work with a couple, and the man wants a bigger portion. Sometimes he likes it spicy. She doesn't like it spicy. Doesn't matter. We can handle any of those kinds of things.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if they have any kind of dietary restriction. We want to know what their doctor is saying. What are the things that your doctor's saying you shouldn't be eating? Okay, so all those things go into that profile, and then that's updated virtually every time we cook for that person. The chef has another conversation with them about how we're going to move that forward. The idea is get their numbers to where they're supposed to be.
Right.
Okay, help them age in place and stay at home.
Sure.
And in the busy professional side, you know, help people spend less money on eating out, less money on DoorDash and those types of things, and just have a healthier meal for everybody when they get home. So could be a week's worth of meals, could be 2 weeks worth of meals. Now, at 2 weeks worth of meals, half of that's going to go in the freezer. So there are some things that freeze well, some things that don't.
Sure.
But we can still do it on both of those prices.
Right. And we started off, you know, I kind of mentioned, and we had kind of pre-gamed this before, you know, food is so essential to your makeup.
Food is medicine.
Food is medicine.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So it's the fanciest pill you could ever get. It's the food you put in your body
That's right.
right. I mean, it's the best.
That's right.
Most natural. Couldn't be anything more holistic than really good, healthy eating. That, especially if they help you achieve your medical goals or you know whatever your goals are. Have you seen success stories and improvements in folks?
So many.
Okay.
It's almost countless.
Can you tell me about
over the it's almost
about just either specific or generally just some of the things you've seen?
our very
I'm super
first,
interested in that.
Our very first customer is the one that couldn't wait 3 months into this to show my wife his numbers and how happy his doctor was about how his blood pressure had gone down because he wasn't eating all that salt anymore.
Right.
About how his cholesterol was down, you know, because he wasn't eating the fatty foods anymore, you know, and so forth. So we get a little creative,
Sure.
you know, sometimes when we do some things. So for example, kale is a superfood.
Yeah.
You know, we can put kale in a meatball and you'll never taste it.
Right.
Okay. By the way, the meatballs are usually made of turkey
Sure.
instead of beef because it has half the fat. So we incorporate a lot of those things into what we do, and have people will come back and tell us they can't believe how quickly their numbers got better just because of the food being the medicine that they needed to help them get their numbers better.
So they're healthier. Their doctors are happy.
Yeah. They have more energy.
Right.
And they get to age in place. that's really what the main
I
focus
bet you they
is.
look different too.
Huh?
After they do really good
They
nutrition.
really do. I mean,
Yeah.
we think about it this way. When the chef goes in, this is kind of a wellness check
Right.
for this senior. A lot of our seniors live alone, and frankly, they can't wait till their chef gets there. You know,
Right.
there's a
Oh, I bet.
bonding. There's a bonding that takes place, and many times we'll be cooking. Our chef will be cooking, and our client will be sitting right there at the counter, and we want them to taste some things along the way.
Mhm.
A lot of times we'll plate a meal for the customer while they're sitting there. If we get there at lunchtime or whatever, that's generally what we want to do.
Sure.
And we're just spending time with this person to make sure they're okay, you know, and so forth. Now, we're not medical professionals,
Right.
okay? So, you know, we're not giving them their pills or doing any of those kinds of things. We're there to cook.
Sure.
But most of the time, when we start working for somebody, it's the caretaker that's called us, not the senior.
Mhm.
It's one of the children of the senior that actually makes the phone call and says, hey, mom or dad isn't, you know, they're getting up there in age, of maybe 80s, 90 years old, you know, so forth, just can't stand in the kitchen as much as they used to. Maybe they're in good health, maybe they have some medical issues that we have to keep an eye out for. But that's where a lot of our customers will come from. And then as we've kind of expanded the business over the last couple of years, we found, you know, those busy professionals ended up finding us. Folks like you.
Sure.
You don't look real old, Greg.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah.
But a lot of those folks found us and said, hey, could you cook for us too, even if we're not seniors? And we said, sure.
One of the ways I plan to not look real old.
Well, there you
is
go.
to eat great, work out,
Yep.
and
There you go.
my big downfall is sleep.
Mhm.
I need like a sleep professional, okay, to teach me how to sleep more. All
I'm
right.
not sure I can help you with
I'm
that.
working on that. Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the things is not eating late. I mean, that's the thing I struggle with. Having a meal prepped and ready there.
Mhm.
You know, eat early so you get your
Mhm.
food digested, so you're not laying down on a full stomach. Those things.
I was thinking about
Yeah.
what you were saying about the pasta, you know, at 8 or 8:30 at night.
Yeah,
It's definitely
or
not,
maybe later.
Yeah, definitely not a good plan. Definitely, that's definitely going to hurt your sleep, you know,
Yeah.
and so forth. And I need to mention before I forget it, we've just recently also expanded into doing some catering.
Right.
So now, because we had some seniors that wanted to have some people over and
Mhm.
things of that nature, and said, hey, can you bring a chef over and maybe cook for 10 people or 12 people? We just did one for 50 some people, you know, and so forth. And we love doing that.
Right.
It's just it's a lot of fun to have a chef there. You know, the people really like
Sure.
having a chef there to
It's
take
I'm
care
sure
of
it's
people.
super
And
cool
of
for.
course, we have other staff
Yeah.
that we bring in to do it, and we do most of the cooking right there,
Right.
right there in their homes. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, it sounds like you guys are. I mean, have an amazing business, are doing great, and certainly is a noble effort to, you know, to. I mean, that's the way I feel, and what we do too is at the end of the day, you know, we've done everything we can for our clients, and it feels good. I call it happy law. You know, when we save money. And
Yeah,
profit for
it
clients.
is. As I read through a lot of your material, I was pretty impressed with how simple you make it as you explaining everything to help people, because we all know a lot of those people who really didn't get the guidance that they needed.
Sure.
So in some senses, maybe we're kind of in the same business, but you know, we just do it on the food side,
Right.
to try to help people eat healthier. But you know, one of the things that got us into the business is that 50% of the seniors that show up at an emergency room are malnutrition.
Right.
They don't want to cook. They don't eat right. They're eating.
There's a lot of factors
Fast food.
around that, behind that.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
poor dental care.
Mhm.
You know, the ability to still eat high protein foods like a steak, something like that.
Mhm.
That you lose sometimes with dentures and other things, and all that can contribute to a poorer quality of life or degradation of health
Right.
over time.
Yeah.
So to keep nutrition, the right, kinds of nutrients in our body
Mhm.
as we age is super important.
It is, and we
Yeah.
don't have to cook. So you know, we don't have to cook every meal for every person.
Mhm.
You know, most of the time we'll go in there and they'll have 3 or 4 entrees for the week, and then maybe a soup or a salad. You know, some people, you know, like to cook their own breakfast, or maybe want to make their own lunch. You know, most of our clients really like the lunch and dinner, the dinner options, you know, more
Sure.
than anything. They don't want to be standing in the kitchen at 6
But
o'clock.
it's up to the client, right?
It's
You can
always up to the
supplement
client.
their
Yeah.
meals or
Yeah. When we give them a menu, we give them a menu and they'll look that over and so forth, and it's almost overwhelming to them. So we don't give them the whole 200 that we have. We start out with about a dozen different things and let them pick some things off that, and then we modify it to their taste and dietary restrictions and so forth.
Right.
And then the chef is really in charge of making suggestions for this person. We don't want them to have to suffer over, what am I going to do this week and what am I going to do this week and and so forth. We're really talking to them about, hey, if you like this, if you like this pork tenderloin, maybe you'll also like this chicken dish, next week. We have a chicken pot pie that has a pastry crust on it and some shallots in it and so forth, and it's a magnificent recipe. And we have people that order that a lot because it's just an awesome recipe and it's made healthy.
Right.
So it's one of those things where as they get used to eating those types of things and a lot of salmon, a lot of seafood.
Salmon's good for you, yeah.
Well, the customer decides, we do charge a service fee to the customer, and sometimes if they don't, depending on their Medicare Advantage program or something,
Right.
that may be, they may be able to charge it to them, okay? They pay us for the groceries, but we don't upcharge at all for the groceries. They only pay the exact cost of that grocery bill, which means when their chef calls them from the grocery store to remind them that we're coming and say, hey, Greg, I'm at the grocery store right now. Do you need milk or eggs or anything else while I'm here? We'll do all their grocery shopping for them if they want. It doesn't cost them any more. They still pay the exact bill. A lot of people like services on Wednesday because I think Harris Teeter has a discount for service on Wednesdays.
Cool.
And things like that. But it's it's one of those things that's all a piece of the service that people really appreciate. Because we just want to take care of them. That's all. We just want to take care of them. And now the majority of our customers come from other customers. We started out,
that's the best way
We get
to get
more-
business is word of mouth.
we
and
get more customers.
I'm always
from other
honored
customers.
when I get a good referral.
There you go.
It's the highest praise I can get.
Yeah. We also get a lot of customers from people that are senior care providers.
Right.
Many of the great senior care agencies here in the Charlotte market, you've got to be nice, empathetic people to be able to do that job, but they're also not chefs.
Right.
So many times we'll get a phone call from one of those folks and they'll call us and say, hey, could you come in and talk to this person? We have a dietitian with us so that if we have somebody who's really got issues, we can give them a consultation with a dietitian before we start cooking for them and work with the dietitian to actually help to structure those meals so that we know that they're going to be okay.
So if someone out there wants to check out your information or get in contact with you to have a consult, right, or initial visit and talk about if this could be right for them, or utilize your services. How I know I found you. I googled like meal prep in Charlotte. Okay. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you, or how can they get in contact?
Well, chefsforseniors.com is one way /Charlotte.
Right.
So we're going to show up there. Our phone number, 980-245-7145.
Okay.
980-245-7145. That's our phone number.
Sure.
But most people will find us online or just give us a call, one way or another. We always get back to everybody right away. I'm in the office almost all day.
Right.
My wife's out training chefs and going into people's homes and doing service consultations, flavor profiles, and making sure everybody's happy. Her mission is happiness.
Right.
Okay, that's it. She just wants to make everybody happy, and she makes sure that when we bring in a chef, who by the way are all have background checks, all have to have safety certification through the state of North Carolina, and they're all very heavily screened to make sure that they know what they're doing.
Right.
Okay, we have to be 100% certain that we're sending somebody into somebody's home where they're going to be safe. And honestly, we evaluate our chefs based on the happiness of their clients. Okay, a lot of our people have significant culinary training. I mean, these people, sous chefs and executive chefs that just got tired of the restaurant industry.
Sure.
But some of them are also people who maybe were empty nesters, or women that have their kids are in school, they've been cooking for years, they can easily follow a recipe, but they have a huge empathy for the senior community. That's the big key that we look for when we interview people. We can teach them the recipes and how to modify some of those things. And what we found was they don't necessarily have to be like super chefs, like you'd see on television. They have to have great listening skills, great people skills, and a lot of empathy, and they need to know their way around a kitchen.
Right.
So we put them through a few tests before they get out there with people, and so forth, and we've been very successful at that. As I said, we have 10 chefs now. We're on our way to probably 20 chefs in the Charlotte market. So there's still an awful lot of need out there.
I have no doubt that you will meet that need
Yeah.
and grow to the size you want to grow. And if, we're going to post that information on the bottom of the screen and in any post
Okay.
as well, so people can get directly to you. And I mean, you can just sitting here with Steve, very knowledgeable, very passionate, and I think it's super cool what you're doing. And nutrition is so important. So it's an honor to have you on the Elder Law Report today and to talk about something I'm passionate about too, which is caring for people, caring for seniors, and also nutrition, which is just so important, so important. So you guys, if you want to eat well, check out Chefs for Seniors online or give Steve a call. Okay.
We appreciate being here. We appreciate being here, and we appreciate working with people like Greg, who also have a genuine empathy for people and seniors and so forth.
I appreciate that. And tune in next week for another great Elder Law Report. See ya.
Please don't wait till it's too late. Call McIntyre Elder Law.